Hello, 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 hello! My name is Donald. Love your beautiful faces, guys. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I'm an American living in Bulgaria. Now, in America, this means yes. In Bulgaria, this also means yes. This also means yes. And this also means yes. Now, in America, this means no. In Bulgaria, this also means no. This also means no. And this also means no. Bulgaria, I need you to choose a system. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And don't get me wrong, guys. I would greatly prefer my system because every now and then I have conversations that go, Donald, what did you do over the weekend? I went to the park. You can't say no to that. It's a factual state. You can't fake news my weekend, guys. But something I have noticed as a foreigner is when a Bulgarian introduces one of us to other Bulgarians, it's a little bit like we're a pet, isn't it? Like, it's just like, this is Georgi, this is Maria, and this is Donald. And then you guys even talk to us a little bit differently. We're like, oh, hey buddy, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Oh my goodness, did you hear that? He said Zdravete. He knows tricks. And guys, like there's different types of pets. There's different types of pet foreigners, okay? Me, I'm a golden retriever foreigner, guys. Okay, I'm coming in with a lot of energy, getting in your person's space a little bit, maybe going for a hug. And if we're talking about food, I'm here for it, okay? If I'm on the edge of a conversation in Bulgarian, I'm like, we talking beans? Because I love me some beans, guys. If we're gonna have beans, I'd love to share. Earlier, someone mentioned kufte, and there was no kufte. I thought that was very rude. There was no kufte. Now, another type of pet foreigner are the cat foreigners, guys. And there might be some of you here tonight. And these are the ones that when you talk to them as social engagement, they're like, excuse me, I will give you attention when I'm ready to give you attention. Until then, I'm just going to stand here and stare at everyone. And then at some point, with gravitas, I'm going to get up, walk across the room, and then keep staring. Now guys, my personal favorite are the parrot foreigners. These are the ones that sit at the edge of a conversation, just nod their head along and repeat whatever Bulgarian they hear. Chake, chake malko, kostava, kostava, mola mola, mola mola. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But to my credit, guys, I am working to learn the language. And my average conversation with a native speaker goes something like this. Здравейте, аз съм Donald, приятно ми е, как се казваш? Oh my God! You are fluent in Bulgarian! Oh my God, thank you so much for taking the time to learn our very difficult language about our culture. Oh my goodness, oh, my English is so bad. I've only been studying it for like 15 years. You probably don't understand anything I'm saying right now. If you don't mind, could we practice English for a while? So learning the language is going a little slower than I was hoping, guys. But to my credit, I did teach myself the Cyrillic alphabet before I moved here. However, I only taught myself the print version. I did not teach myself cursive. And there's a reason for that. I was lazy. Also, in America, you can honestly get by without cursive, guys. We do not use it that often. And when I came here, I found random cursive letters and words in your restaurant menus, and on your street signs, and in your government documents. So I was like, I gotta learn cursive. And it wasn't that bad. Like, let's be honest. Cursive is just like the print letters, but a little sassier. And so I'm going through the alphabet, and I'm like, cool, and I'm like, all right. And then I hit T. And I went, hold up. I did M already. And I was going back and forth. And for those of you who don't know, the difference between a cursive M and a cursive T is the corners are a little more rounded. And that's it. Now, I don't know who's allowed this to continue, but I have a theory on how it started, guys. Let's all go back to the 9th century, okay? Cyril had invented the Cyrillic alphabet, but now he's retiring. He spent his life traveling, educating, and banging his way through the Balkans. Guys, he invented an alphabet. This dude fucked, okay? But now he's retiring, and his apprentice, Clement, wants to take over the throne. But how are you gonna compete with the rock star? You gotta release your own album, Cursive. So now, he's going from village to village in Bulgaria, educating the people. And he's doing okay, sexually. And he walks into this village, and he sees the most beautiful Bulgarian woman he's ever seen sitting at the well, Radislava. And he struts up to her and he's like, Zdrasty. And she's like, ne. And he's like, što ne? And she's like, I have a boyfriend. And she points across the square. And who's standing there, guys? But the blacksmith's apprentice. And he's fucking hot, okay? We're talking over 2 meters tall, 8-pack, soft eyes, nice smile, 9 out of 10, male specimen. Would be a 10 out of 10, but never properly learned to dance the horo. That man is Clement's competition. And he says, what is your boyfriend's name? Mitko. I wish you and Mitko all the happiness in the world. And then he ran on home, guys, kicked open the door to his lair, slammed down his books, and pulled out his quill and was like, Mitko, you may have Radislava's heart today, but soon it will be mine. And he looked down at T and changed a cursive T to be almost exactly like a M. And the next morning he spread papers all throughout Bulgaria. And after that day, no one knew whether or not Mitko's name was Mitko, Mimko, Tidko, or Timko. And Mitko, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Mitko became the laughing stock of his village, guys. And him and Radislava's young love couldn't handle it. Till finally one day she was like, Tidko, you're not the man I fell in love with. And she ran out the door and collapsed crying on the well. And who showed up in that moment but Clement? And he strutted up to her and was like, Zdrasty. Yes, it is me, Clement, here to kiss your tears away. And Radislava looked up and stared deep into his eyes and said, is your name Clement? Or Clemen? Or Cletent? Or Cletem? And that is why we all know the other name for the cursive T as the curse of Clement. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, thank you. Now, some of you may be wondering right now, how did this American boy end up in Bulgaria? And I'll tell you, I fell in love with an amazing, wonderful, beautiful, hilarious Bulgarian woman. And then she scooped me up and brought me back to the old country. Yeah. However, to get here, guys, I had to get a visa, which meant I got to deal with Bulgarian administration. Oh, we got some fans of it in the audience. That's rare. So first things first, guys. I go on the website and I find the visa application. And I'm going through it, and it's pretty straightforward. And then at the bottom, there's a single line written, when submitting this application, please include the other required documents. That's it. No list of said documents, no instructions on how to find said documents. So I spent 30 minutes going up and down this website trying to find these documents, and finally give up and I just give the consulate a call. And I get a guy on the phone and he's like, hello, you've reached the Bulgarian consulate, how can I help you? And I'm like, oh hey, my name's Donald, nice to meet you, how are you doing today? What do you want? I'm American, my girlfriend's Bulgarian, I'm trying to get a visa to come to Bulgaria. Oh, have you been on the website? Yeah, I actually have the website open in front of me right now. Wonderful. If you look on the website, on the left-hand side, there is a menu. In that menu is everything you need to know. Okay, so I went through the menu and I found the application for the visa. It mentioned some other documents? Yes. Once again, if you look on the website, on the left-hand side, there's a menu. In that menu is everything you need to know. Okay, but I spent about 30 minutes already looking through the menu and I was just hoping you could tell. Listen, 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 listen. You sound like a smart boy. Once again, if you look on the website, on the left-hand side there's a menu. In that menu, I promise you, is everything you need to know. Have a good day. Click. I'll be honest, guys. I was actually not that bothered by that initial interaction with Bulgarian administration, because I had spent 3 years working as an assistant in a law firm in the States, dealing on a daily basis with American administration. And spoiler alert, they suck too. So if I had to rate the initial interaction, guys, 5 out of 10. Yes, I got absolutely nothing I wanted, and did get hung up on. However, reasonably polite. 5 out of 10, guys. 5 out of 10. And at the time, I'm lucky, because I was living in Chicago, and in downtown Chicago, there is a Bulgarian consulate office. And something I learned working at the law firm is if you can go in person to the office, do it, because they can't hang up on a person. So I go down to the office, and I get in line, and I walk up to the desk, and I'm like, Здравейте, съжалявам, мой български не е добре. Английски, моля? No, guys. When you're talking your non-native language poorly to a native speaker, there's generally one of two ways it can go down. The first is, you're an adorable idiot. The second is, you're a jackass. She responded with, what? So she chose door number 2. And now I'm like frantically explaining, I'm like, oh, I'm American, my girlfriend's Bulgarian, I'm trying to get a visa, come to America. And in that moment, another woman walking behind her, I found out later was the actual consulate, stops, turns, almost pushes her out of the way, and points her finger at me, and she's like, you and your girlfriend, are you married? And I said, no, my girlfriend and I. And she was like, oh, okay, here's what you do. You go out, you get married, you come back, we give you a green card. And I said, excuse me? And she's like, it's like when we come to States. You find someone to marry, you get green card, 5 years later you're a citizen. Easy, easy. And I was like, what? Because guys, I totally get the easiest way to go to a different country for a long time is marry someone from there. I did not expect a government employee to be like, do it. So now I'm arguing with her, and I'm like, I wasn't planning on getting married this week? And she's like, why aren't you listening to me? I'm trying to help you. So So finally I'm like, what happens if I move to Bulgaria without us getting married? And she's like, oh, then you need a work visa. And I was like, oh, finally, this is why I'm here. What is the process for this? And she's like, information for work visa on the website. Next! Guys, Bulgarian administration is a bit like a video game that you do get a little better at every time you play, but you never win. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys, I love video games. I love playing them. My current favorite one is called Fortnite. And for those of you who don't know, Fortnite is a fantastic game where 100 people are on the same map at the same time, and the goal is kill everyone else and be the last one surviving. And I play with my girlfriend, but we don't play at the same time. So while she's playing, I'm watching. While I'm playing, she's watching. And we have very different strategies when it comes to Fortnite, guys. My strategy is find a weapon, find other people, kill them. Her strategy is hide, let everyone else kill each other, that's it. And I have placed in the top 10 in Fortnite 8, maybe 9 times. She consistently places in the top 10, and she won a match. And the way she did it, yeah, good for her. And I'm not joking, guys, the way she did it was she hid, let everyone else kill each other, that was it. Like, she literally spent the whole match just running around, and whenever she sees someone, she'd be like, oh no, thank you, fuck you, bye. And just kept doing this over and over and over again, till finally we're like, oh my god, it's down to you and one other person. This might happen, you might win, holy shit. And so she's hiding behind this wall, and we're waiting for their dude to just run around it, and hopefully she shoots him in the head. And we're waiting, and we're waiting, and then suddenly, you win! Victory Royale! Ba, 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 ba! And we're like, holy shit, you did it! But also, because you didn't shoot anyone. We rewatched the replay, guys. He sees her. He's running towards her. He tries to jump over a little bridge, misses the landing. This asshole falls an extra 50 feet, kills himself. She Gandhi'd her way to victory, guys. Yes. It was magical. We were playing again a couple weeks later, and there's different modes in Fortnite, and one of them is duos. And it's you and another person online on a team. And the gamer tag name of the other person was Slavic Warrior 2008. And I was like, oh, babe, let's get on the headset and talk with them and find out if they're Bulgarian. Maybe they're Bulgarian. And she responds with, no. That says 2008. That person is 13 years old. I am not talking with a 13-year-old from the internet. I'll talk with a 13-year-old from the internet. So I get in the headset, I'm like, Justy, как stava, popravish brat. And what I hear back is, and I'm like, I don't think any of that was Bulgarian. And I turned to my girlfriend, I'm like, that wasn't Bulgarian. She's like, no. And I'm like, okay. Well, now let me try English, because maybe you know some English. I'm like, English, Angliski, and he's like, Polak! And I'm like, oh. Because guys, I have Polish heritage, and I know how to sing happy birthday in Polish. So I immediately jump into sto lat, nie żyje żyja. 100 lat, nie żyje żyja. Jeszcze raz, nie żyje żyja, nie żyje na, da. On the other side of the headset, confused silence. And then at the end, Slavic Warrior 2008 jumps with the hearty, nie żyje na, da. So now we're best friends. And we're running around and we're like, stola, bang, bang, bang. Nezhizia, bang, bang, bang. And we're having the time of our lives, guys. And then we're going south, and then sorry. This next part's difficult. It was a sunny day. Slavic Warrior 2008 loved the sun, guys. And we're heading south past Loot Lake. You know where. And then suddenly, from the east, bang, 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 and he's hit, and I'm like, no, buddy, I got you, I throw up a barrier, and then from the west, bang, 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 and I'm like, no, 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 and I throw up another barrier, and I turn around. And he's gone, guys. He's gone. And as I'm looting his remaining ammunition, I say softly once more, Stolat, Nezhezhia. I never played with Slavic Warrior 2008 again, guys. Because when he friend requested my girlfriend's Xbox account, she said, I'm not being internet friends with a 13-year-old Polish boy. Which is fair. However, every time someone has a birthday on a sunny day, I say softly, Stolat. Thank you. I'm 33 now, and things change when you hit your 30s. Like, not only does your body get a little slower, but like, literally your outlook and understanding of the world changes. And the simplest way I can describe this is, I bought a new vacuum 3 months ago. I still get excited every time I use it, guys. It cleans so much better than a broom and dustpan. Like, if you're still using a broom and dustpan, please get a vacuum. Please get a vacuum, guys. Because when you're sitting there and you're struggling with it, and you're trying to make that dust go in, and there's that line of sin, that won't go in, let me show you how easy that is with a vacuum, guys. That's it. And I know, some of you are like, Donald, what about corners? I love corners, okay? I am not lazy with my vacuum. I go back to the box it came in, and I pull out that handheld attachment and hook it on. And I strut into a corner like I'm in a Western. This apartment ain't big enough for the two of us, partner. But things do change when you get older, guys. Like, now that I'm a bit older, a Friday night with an IKEA catalog, that shit is lit, y'all. I will post up on my couch and flip through that thing and just redecorate my entire apartment. Just like, am I feeling crazy? Maybe new drapes and a new coffee table. Woo! Guys, now I'm a bit older. I love salads. I hated them when I was a kid. Not only do I love them now, I have opinions. Let's get into it, y'all. Caesar salads. Always a safe choice in a new restaurant. Shatska salata. It's amazing. It's a mountain of cheese on a salad. Bean salads. Way too much effort for too little taste, guys. Potato salads. Not a salad, guys. Not a salad. It's just potatoes. Guys, now that I'm a bit older, if I see an empty sink with a rack of clean dishes next to it, I get a little bit turned on. And that's if I did the dishes, okay? If someone else did them, immediate boner, guys. Immediate boner. But it's not all good things getting older, let's be honest. Like, back when I was 20 and I exercised, it was fantastic. I had more energy, I felt alive. Now when I exercise, I feel like I'm paying rent to use my own body. And if you don't pay that rent, there's late fees, guys. Has anyone ever apparently opened a door way too fast and something in your shoulder just shifts and you're like, oh, that's a late fee, guys. Like, I remember when I had knees just knees, and it was great. Now, I have a good knee and a bad knee, guys. I remember being in restaurants and the music was never too loud, okay? I remember going into rooms and remembering why I went into that room. Now, I just hang out for a while and hope it comes back to me. If you put all those symptoms into WebMD, guys, you get Alzheimer's. I remember having knees, just knees, and it was great. Now, I have a good knee and a bad knee. I remember being in restaurants and the music was never too loud, guys. I remember going into rooms and remembering why I went into that room. Now, I just hang out for a while and hope it comes back to me. If you put all those symptoms into WebMD, guys, you get Alzheimer's. I remember having okay. I'm done with it. Where am I? Ah yes, Bulgaria. I want to take a second and as a foreigner, talk with all the Bulgarians in the audience, okay? You guys are extremely patient and understanding with us foreigners learning your language. Sincerely, thank you. I immediately, no, not done, because I'm immediately following that up with stop it. Stop it right now, stop letting us suck at Bulgarian, okay? And I know half the foreigners in the audience right now are like, shut the fuck up, man. No, we're done with it, okay? Because I'll be talking with a Bulgarian in Bulgarian, and I know I'm making enough mistakes that I sound like a crazy person. And the only feedback I get is, oh, okay, dobre angliski сега. So no, we're done with it. Because another example, guys, I had a coworker. His name was Georgi. He often went by Joro, as a Georgi does. Now, the first time I heard someone call him Joro, I heard Goro. I called him Goro for 2 months, guys. No one in my office, full of Bulgarians, corrected me. And there was even like a final week where I was like, I think everyone's saying Goro's name wrong. So finally I pulled him aside, I was like, Georgi, is your name Goro? And he said, no, it's Joro. Why? Why did you let me call you Goro for the last 2 months? I thought it was funny. Another example, guys. I learned the word Yako in Bulgarian. For those of you who don't know, it means cool in English. I love the word cool in English. I use it all the time. Cool. Super happy to learn Yako. Yako. However, something happened when I learned Yako that instead I started saying Yake. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Yake means jacket. So people are like, Donald, how was your weekend? I'm like, it was Yake, how was yours? And it's like, Donald, we're going for burgers, you want to come? I'm like, Donald loves burgers, Yake. And then Baba cut in front of me in line once, and I was like, nay, Yake. Till finally, after several weeks of this, my wonderful Bulgarian girlfriend pulled me aside and she was like, I've been meaning to ask you, why do you keep calling everything jacket? So guys, as a foreigner, it would be great if when you're talking with us, we sound like Google Translate got drunk. Take a second and figure out what we wanted to say, okay? That would be a great foreigner win moment for me. And for those of you who don't know, a foreigner win moment is when, as a foreigner living in a new place, you learn how to function a little bit better or not get taken advantage of in the new society. For example, in Sofia, the first time as a foreigner, you get caught on the bus without a ticket, and you find out you can get out of that by just running away. That's a great foreigner win moment, guys. I had another one recently. I was in a villa, and I had my card, and I'm waiting to check out. And then a baba appeared. And she did that baba thing where they don't look at you and just try to push their cart in front of yours. And I pushed mine forward, and I was like, "Asum pervi," which means I am first. And she mumbled something at me in Bulgarian, I couldn't make it out, I was just like, "Asum pervi, asum pervi, asum pervi." And we go back and forth for about 10 seconds. And then finally, she backs up and goes to find another line to cut into. And I won. I won in that moment. I beat the bottle. Thank you. Thank you. I told my parents that story. And my mom was like, "Donald, you boxed out a grandma?" And I was like, "No, Mom, I boxed out a baba. It's an entirely different breed with that. If you let in one baba, there is always another baba ready to keep it going." Everyone who works in Billa let in a baba, and they've never left the store since, guys. But I should clarify, because I am talking about city babas. There's the other variety, the village baba. Now, if you have never seen a village baba, they're a little shorter, they usually wear lots of shawls, and they'll smile at you. Now, if you ever get lost in a Bulgarian village, do not panic. Wait 15 to 20 minutes, a village baba will appear. She will take you home with her. You are now legally her grandchild, and she will start feeding you pałeczynki. However, if you sneeze or cough within 10 kilometers of a village baba, she will forcibly make you lie down, cover you in rakia-soaked blankets, and make you lay there until you are better. Now on the other end of the spectrum, we have the city babas. They're a little taller, a lot meaner guys. Because they gotta push through people to get where they're gonna go. And it always, for some reason, seems to be on the bus during rush hour traffic to get to the stores for the sales that are all day long. I don't want to brag, guys, but I saw a city baba smile one time. What happened was, I was running for the bus, and the doors closed. And I'm hitting the button, and nothing's happening. And the bus starts to drive away. And on the other side of the glass was a city baba. And she was like, So I watched the bus drive away, and I'm like, motherfucker. And then at that moment, a guy leaned in, Bulgarian, completely unprompted, and just like, "Hey man, you should have run faster, now you gotta wait for the next bus." Which brings me to one of my favorite aspects of Bulgarian culture. Bulgarians love pointing out negative things. I do not mean Bulgarians are negative, sorrowful people. What I mean is, if something sucks, a Bulgarian will happily let you know. Like guys, I'm American. We're over-the-top positive about everything. So if there's a conversation between a Bulgarian and American, and the Bulgarian is like, "Look at this shit, can you not believe how shitty this shit is?" The American will be like, "Oh, I mean, yeah, it could be better, but it also could be worse." Now, if it's between two Bulgarians, the first one will be like, "Look at this shit, can you not believe how shitty this shit is?" The other one will be like, "Ugh, move out of the way. You have not done a good enough job describing how shitty this shit is. I will now take over." Like, even the first time I ever came here, my girlfriend passed me off to her friend to show me around Sofia. And we're bar hopping around. And as we're going around, he's not pointing out the cathedral, or the 1,000-year history of Bulgaria, or, you know, that you guys invented an alphabet. No, what he's doing is, every time we step over a hole in the sidewalk, he's like, "Hey, Bulgaria!" And then we're going along, and then we reach an underpass, and we start going down, he's like, "Hey, check it out." And I look over, and he's pointing at the metal tracks on the side. And I have never seen this before in my life. So I'm trying to understand what they're there for, and I stare at him for a little bit, and I'm like, are those for bikers? And he's like, no, the handicapped. And I look back at these metal tracks, these metal ramps that go the whole way along this 5-meter-long staircase, and I'm like, if someone in a wheelchair were to go down that, they might die. And he goes, maybe, Bulgaria. So we keep going, and we go to this bar that sadly doesn't exist anymore. It was on top of an old government building, the Archivite. And when I say old government building, I mean like from the 50s. And we walk in, and there's immediately this old musty smell to it. And right away, like he's like, you smell that? You smell that? And I'm like, yeah, Bulgarian smell? And he's like, no, communist smell! And I'm like, oh, we've changed. And then we get on the elevator, and there are no doors that close, and it just starts going up. And I'm like, whoa. And he's like, communist elevator. And then we go into the bar, and there's no one else in the bar, guys, except 2 very old men in a corner at the same table, not talking to each other. And we walk in, and he leans in, he's like, communist bar. And he's like, oh, by the way, do not tell them you're American. And I was like, I don't know if that's a joke. And he's like, haha. So we go in and we get our beers and we get our glasses and we sit down, and I'm about to pour my beer in my glass, and he's like, whoa, 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 no, don't do that, just drink from the glass. And I'm like, why? Communist glasses? And he's like, no, they just don't clean them here, they're dirty. But guys, for a long time, I did not understand that hard difference between Bulgaria and communism until I went on the communist walking tour, and I highly recommend it to go on it, especially if you're a foreigner. It's a comprehensive 3-hour introduction to that time period of Bulgarian history and its lingering effects today. Spoiler alert, gang, if you're having a good day, don't go on the tour. It was not a happy time, they don't sugarcoat it. But I went on this tour and spent 3 hours just talking about communism, and then we went out to dinner afterwards and spent the whole time talking about it. And then the next day, I binge-watched Chernobyl. So good show, but also I kind of overdid it on communism that weekend, guys. Where like that was my worldview. Like I don't mean like I'm a communist now, but I mean like if you would spend all weekend watching musicals and then you go into the store and the cash registers are like da-ding, 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 and you're like, oh, now everyone's going to break into song. But communism. To the point that I showed up at work the next day, and I see my coworker, and she's like, hey Donald, how was your weekend? I'm like, it was Yako, how was yours? And she's like, it was really good. Me and my boyfriend got a new oven. And I'm like, oh, exciting, cool. And she's like, yeah, I need to make a banitsa in it. And my first thought was, oh my God, if you don't make a banitsa within a week to show how Bulgarian you are, the state police will show up and take you away. Let me be 100% clear. That is not something they told us on the tour, guys. However, they did say that a lot of documents went missing from that time, and there's a lot of stuff we don't know about. So, let's take some historical liberties, shall we? And assume that was a thing. And there's a Bulgarian family here, having dinner. And then suddenly, there's a knocking on the door. The mother opens the door. It's the police. And they're like, we've heard from your neighbors that you purchased a new oven a week ago and there's not been a single banitsa in this household. Explain yourself. And the mother is like, what are you talking about? We've had banitsa every day for breakfast since we've had that oven. And the police are like, if that's true, perhaps you can show us some of this banitsa. And she's like, I make the best banitsa in all of Bulgaria. There are never leftovers of my banitsa. And the police are like, how convenient. Perhaps there's something else you can show us to prove how Bulgarian you are. And she's like, Разбира се. As you can see, on our dining room table is a shopska salata in the traditional white, green, red of the Bulgarian flag. And the police are like, that's legit. That's very legit. We're sorry. We're very sorry. You are obviously proper Bulgarians. However, to do our job, we have to say we've seen the oven. Can we come in and see the oven? And she's like, yes, yes, of course. It's in the kitchen. And they walk in, do 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 do, and they open the oven, guys. And what's in there? But not a banitsa, but an American apple pie. Dun dun dun! And they're like, this is pie. Western spy. This is pie. Western spy. And now all the neighbors' heads are popping off the terraces and they're like, this is pie. Western spy. This is pie. Western spy. Why did you lie, you Western spy? Why did you lie, you Western spy? And now the policeman is proclaiming, you made a mistake going against the state. Your fate is sealed and you'll die in the field. And now the neighbors in the terraces are chanting, arrest the tramp to the labor camp, arrest the tramp to the labor camp. But the mother, guys, she's pleading for mercy. You'll see we've done nothing wrong. If you play a folk song, I will dance the horo with my husband Joro. But please fall on deaf ears. The neighbors keep chanting, she has to pay, take her away. She has to pay, take her away. She has to pay, take her away. And as the policeman is cuffing her, he says, I can make this go away. 450 level. Guys, let's also give a big giant round of applause to our other performers, Dimmy and Deanna. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. We will have this show again on October 7th, so please come back. Once again, guys, my name is Donald. Love your beautiful faces. Please say hi after the show. We can share a high five and tip your bartenders. Thank you so much.